All right, welcome in. It's Vikings Ventline on Score North and the Score North app. Also live video streaming on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. My name is Phil Mackey. That is Manny Hill. AJ Fredrickson taking your phone calls on the other side of the glass here. And let's just throw the numbers out. 651-646-8255. 651-646-8255. The lines are lighting up right now. So once people start to drop off, you know the drill. Get in there with that phone number and give us your thoughts. Now, Manny, I was just saying to you as Anderson Dejo picked off that final pass and finally put the Detroit Lions to bed here. A ton of garbage time yards for the Lions offense. This was the closest blowout game I can remember the Vikings playing in quite some time. The final score was 20-7, and the Lions almost scored a touchdown to make it like 20-14. This felt like a 52-3 game the entire time. The Vikings did exactly what they had to do against a poorly coached, bad Lions team with a third-string undrafted quarterback. It was a get-well game on every single front, and now they can move forward and attempt to run the table, which I think they might have to do if they want to win this division. I think they have to win their next 3 games, but this was exactly what they had to do today.
Yeah, and the Detroit Lions totally looked like a 3-8-1, now 3-9-1 football team today. They are bad. They are not good. And the Vikings did enough today to sort of put themselves in a position where you never really felt like the Lions ever had a chance to win the game. And that's I think the most important thing. It's 20-7. It's easy to sort of look at things and say, well, they should have beaten them 45-7, but it kind of felt like they were beating them 45-7, even though the final score didn't reflect that. But yeah, they did everything. I thought Kirk Cousins played really well today. Stephon Diggs was a factor. Dalvin Cook was solid. I think they clearly had him on a touch, I guess a pitch count or a touch restriction. He had 18 carries for 62 yards, but they also got Alexander Mattison involved heavily in the game plan today too. So this just felt like get in, get out as healthy as we possibly can and get ready for the Chargers next week.
Until garbage time, the Vikings held the Lions to 2 yards per play through like the first almost 3 full quarters. Just a complete dominating performance. Kirk Cousins, 24 of 30 for 242 and a touchdown. And we have full phone lines here. We're going to get to Taylor, Dan, John, Titus. Actually, one just dropped, 651-646-8255. And I want to pose this question because there's not a whole lot to vent about. By all means, if you have something to vent about off this game, bring it to us. We are here for you for the next hour or so on Vikings Ventline. But here's the question I want to pose. What needs to happen in the next 3 weeks? You got the Chargers on the road, which is a kind of a road game. Not really. I mean, it's like the least road game of all road games in the NFL. And then home against the Packers, home against the Bears. The Packers did hold on to win against Washington today. They did not look great, but they won the game today. What needs to happen the next 3 weeks for you to feel good about the Vikings' chances to win a Super Bowl? And I will say, win your next 3 games for one, because I don't think you can win the Super Bowl if you have to play 3 road games as a wild card team. And there's a chance they might be a 12-4 wild card team if the Packers don't lose a non-Vikings game. I think you have to run the table in the regular season and then hope that that's enough to win your division so you can play at least one game inside that house of horrors at US Bank Stadium, which the Vikings are on another level in. Let's go to the phone lines here, Manny Hill. Taylor in San Francisco, let's start us off in the Bay Area. What'd you think of that Vikings win over the Lions?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Hey, first-time caller. Been Vikes fan for about 10 years. Been listening to you guys for 2 years. Just kept pushing it off, but finally decided to call.
Welcome, dude. Thanks for calling.
Nice.
Yeah, of course. So I'll get to your question in a sec. I actually do kind of have something to vent about a little bit.
Sure.
This game is a little bittersweet. Obviously, it was great because for the first time this entire season, we made a rookie quarterback look like a rookie QB, which is huge. But my biggest thing is, do you guys ever feel like Zimmer is more reactive with his defensive adjustments than proactive? Like, give an example. Obviously, Eagles defense, when we played them in the NFC Championship, like, we just got destroyed defensively. We go in 2018 season, next 6 games, there's no adjustments. And it's clear that our defense is nowhere near the caliber. We lose to the Rams. He finally adjusted because the media is just pouring it down his throat that Zimmer, something needs to change. And I don't know. He clearly made some really good defensive adjustments. Rhodes obviously had a snap count that helped. Holton Hill saw more action. I finally saw those adjustments, but it just felt a week too late. We had a bye week to do it. I wanted to see them do that in Seattle, and I just felt like Zimmer always waits to the last possible second to be like, all right, you know what? Everything's stacked against me. Media's against me. My team's against me. My reporters are against me. I have to change. And it's just, dude, if you were this proactive on your defense, I have no doubt in my mind we would have beat Chase Daniel in Chicago, and we definitely would have beat Matt Moore in Kansas City.
Yeah. Hey, Taylor, thanks for the first-time call. Don't make it the last time you call, too, all right? We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And real quick, guys, just want to say if we can keep that defensive adjustment going, that's the key to going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think the offense can hold its ground. If we can keep that and Zimmer doesn't go back to his old ways, I think that's our best shot. So.
And I cut him off on his last sentence there, but so here I'm sort of torn because it's hard to say that the defensive adjustments from last week to this week worked because look what happened today. I mean,
you went from Russell Wilson to David Blau.
Right. It was the Lions. like you don't have to apologize for it. Yeah. And again, you did what you had to do. And I don't think there's anything to criticize defensively today. But what I did like is, and I don't have the snap counts in front of me here. Somebody will come out with that after the game. I love that Xavier Rhodes was no longer just the guy who's out there for all of the series. Yeah. So Xavier Rhodes started, played the first series, and then Mike Hughes played the second series and had a big-time pass breakup on third down. Mm-hmm. And I think the more we can see of Mike Hughes and the more we can see Xavier Rhodes on kind of a pitch count, I don't think you have to just be done altogether with Xavier Rhodes. He's on your team. He's highly paid. He's a veteran. He forced a fumble last week against Seattle. I mean, there's things he can still do. But it seems like Mike Zimmer has come to terms with, all right, this isn't like put him out there for 70 snaps and he's just out there as an anchor anymore. He's clearly being rotated and platooned with Mike Hughes, as was the case today.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you have to do if you're a head coach of a football team. This is what you have to do. You have to, unfortunately, make difficult decisions, even when you don't want to have to make those decisions. And one of these decisions that Mike Zimmer has to make, or maybe today he showed that he has made that decision, is to have less and less of Xavier Rhodes out there on the field and more Mike Hughes and more Holton Hill. I mean, Holton Hill, yeah, he was undrafted, but he was undrafted because of off the field stuff. And they brought him in here last year. He played well late in the season last year when they had him in there. And obviously he put the team in a very difficult spot by getting himself suspended with multiple suspensions, and he missed the first half of the year. But they obviously kept him around. How many guys do you see get suspended like that, especially undrafted guys, and get kept around?
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a reason why Holton Hill is still with the Vikings, because they like him, because there's talent there. But for some reason, when he was back, Mike Zimmer still didn't play him because he wanted to stick with Xavier Rhodes. And sometimes you got to make those tough decisions. And to the caller's point, I mean, you just wonder if Mike Zimmer made that decision, a week too late, because it would have been nice to see Holton Hill more in Seattle last week.
And by the way, I'm on the record. I said this the day after the Seattle loss. I know the defense was the headline coming out of that game, and Xavier Rhodes wound up apologizing the next day, and the defense was the thing to talk about. But if Adam Thielen was playing in that game against Seattle, I think they win the game. I think they win the game. It's a shootout, but I think when you have Adam Thielen and you've got the ball 3.5 minutes to go, down by 4, and you're trying to get 70 yards to the end zone for a touchdown to go up in that game, you're not then forced to squeeze a ball on second down to Laquan Treadwell or third down, whatever it was. You're not forced to go to a rookie tight end who's really good, Irv Smith, but he was blanket covered. It was like Stephon Diggs and nobody else was reliable in that situation. And so that's one thing that we're not, just add this to the list of things that we have to see in order to be more confident about the Vikings' chances to win a Super Bowl. If Adam Thielen can come back in the regular season and that hamstring is healthy, I don't know if it makes sense to play him until maybe the Packers game. I don't know if I'd play him against the Chargers. I think you can beat the Chargers without Adam Thielen. But if that guy comes back, and you've already got, mostly without him for half the season, you've already got yards per play wise, like the third best offense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different metrics would kind of put the Vikings between the third and seventh best offense in the NFL. And again, that's half the season without one of the best wide receivers in the league. If you add him back in, and Xavier Rhodes is no longer as much of a focal piece on defense, this thing looks even different headed down the stretch. 651-646-8255. Phil Mackey, Manny Hill. It's Vikings Ventline.